Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I'm not a blockchain expert. Occasionally I get questions about let's start a new topic. And one of the things that we look at in Malaysia is we're trying to see at UKM, we try to see what's relevant for Malaysia as a country. What are the things that the world is looking at? Where are we going? What type of talent are we producing in Malaysia? What is the industry looking for? And so on. So when we started looking at this, the last event we did was a couple of years ago when we started looking at Industry 4.0. And you'll know that Dr. Mahathir, he launched Industry 4.0 October the 29th last year. And as a result, we also have Industry 4.0 plugged into the ecosystem, into the national budgets. There's money available. But a lot of it started here at UKM more than 2.5 years ago. One of the things that we've been looking at right now, moving forward, is what is the next areas that is big. You'll see from this chart, this is a live chart. This is a live chart right now that's going on. This is money flowing from banks, from our pockets, into the blockchain Bitcoin network. This is live. The price of Bitcoin today is $10,061 right now. In 5 minutes time, it'll probably change. What you see here is money from around the world, down at the bottom, moving upwards, and people investing from their bank accounts straight into the Bitcoin network. Bitcoin is one of the cryptocurrencies around the world. You'll see here, US dollars going to the US, Japan, Korea, right now parts of Europe, people investing money. But you'll see a lot of the money here is flowing from our banks, from our physical money, they call it fiat currencies, into cryptocurrency. You don't see much coming back. And this is the funny thing. While we think this whole thing about blockchain is not equal to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one component that rides on blockchain. But while we sit here today, this is happening around the world. So the question for us all in Malaysia and around the world is, what is the impact of this? How should students be trained to take advantage of this in future? What will happen to companies that are operating around the world in this space? So I'm just going to move on. Okay, overview of the talk. I'll give you a brief overview of blockchain. As I said, I'm not a technical guru in blockchain, but I'll look at it more from an economic perspective at a high level. We'll talk a bit about the blockchain sandbox that we're going to be setting up here in UKM. And then we'll talk about some of the collaboration partners that are involved in this project, what each one of them might bring to the table. One of the things that this slide talks about is that blockchain, it says, is an institutional technology. It's not an informational technology. An institutional technology is something that comes around once every couple of decades, a bit like the internet. That was an institutional technology. We see lots of new technologies coming around every year, a few times a year, but blockchain is not like that. I'll read this because this is important. It allows you to go from intra to inter-organization here. What centralized organization enabled, when we talk about centralized organization, a company, you take a company like IBM, you take a company like DHL, when you look within the company, that's a centralized organization. That enabled trust, coordination, and cooperation inside the companies. What blockchain enables is trust, coordination, and cooperation between companies and between individuals. So blockchain allows you to step outside of your corporate network and to start interacting with the world in a trusted manner. Very often when we work with our own companies, we understand what's in our companies, but we build firewalls and all that stuff to protect ourselves from the world. Now, blockchain allows you to step out and build trust between many different companies. The end result of this institutional change is greater capacity for bigger collaboration, much more powerful ecosystems. So this is what blockchain is building on a global basis. What is blockchain? It's a set of protocols. It's a set of protocols. It includes cryptography, which is encryption. So as you go out onto the markets, it is encrypted, the data. It enables a network of computers to work together to securely record data in a shared open database. So blockchain allows you to write to a global shared database. Words that are important here: a set of protocols. This is technology. Cryptography means encrypted, protected, secure. It's a network of computers scattered around the world. It's secure, and it's based on a shared open database. Yeah, so this is what is blockchain. Very simply, you'll see in blockchain, you'll see blocks of data connected by chains of information that runs across the network. This database is a write-only database. So those of you who are into computer science, into technology, you know databases. You've got sequential databases, you've got relative databases. Databases, very often you write to them, you read from them, you read, write, you edit the databases. In the case of blockchain, it is a database that's scattered, but you can only write to it. You can't edit it, you can't change it. Yeah? So it's a write-only database, and once you've written to it, it is very hard, almost impossible, to change the data in that database. Data that's stored on the blockchain is considered generally incorruptible. You know, if you corrupt one part of the database, globally, there are many other databases. Every copy of the database will come back and correct the database again. So you can't go back and try to change one part of the database. So the data store is incorruptible. Okay, the other thing about blockchain is any change in the database, any change in the databases around the world must have consensus. Everybody has to agree that if we make a change, we will make the change, and we all agree to the change. You don't have to care who's on the other side. Whether it's a person, you don't care who's on the other person. You're trusting the mechanism that allows you to update this. In order to make an entry on the blockchain database, all the computers have to agree about the state. Not one computer can make an alteration without the consensus of others. So imagine if you're trying to hack the blockchain network, you've got to hack millions of computers in order to make the change. If you go back into one computer, two computers, and try to make the change, it will not work. You cannot hack the blockchain network. Because of that, it's so secure.